Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Have you ever wondered if your friends and family determine who you are? Haven't you ever heard your mom like, don't hang out with that person because then that's who you are? Or tell me who your friends are and I'll tell you who you are? That's a little bit true, but not fully. Let me go ahead and explain. But first, today we're going to be going over chapter 9 of this amazing book, and this actually goes over in a lot of detail, and I found this chapter actually pretty good. The other one, chapter 8, it was okay, but I really like the example it provided here. And it starts with this guy who was from Hungary. His name was Laszlo Polgar. Very bad with names, great with faces, terrible with names, so don't kill me. So pretty much this guy, he rejected the idea of innate talent. He claimed that with deliberate practice and the development of good habits, a child could become a genius in any field. His mantra was, a genius is not born, but is educated and trained. And I feel like a lot of psychologists have gone back and forth with this, with the nature versus nurture situation. So they think, you have certain traits that you're born with, and it doesn't matter how much you practice, you might not ever master it. So like, you can practice hours and hours of music and some people just never get better. So this man actually wanted to put it to the test, and he was so invested that he decided to create his little humans to do this test. So it's like, I want to do this child experiment, but I can't do it with other people's kids. So let me go ahead and convince this lady to have kids with me and we can do a experiment. So that's basically what he did. So he kept talking to this lady named Clara, asking her to help him with this research. She was some teacher. They ended up getting married. So Laszlo decides chess would be a suitable field for the experiment, and he laid out a plan to raise his children to become chess prodigies. The kids would be homeschooled. So at that time, homeschool was very rare. So he's literally controlling their whole environment. He's not exposing them to the public schools with other kids to influence their thoughts. The house would be filled with chess books and pictures of famous chess players. The children would play against each other constantly and compete in the best tournaments they can find. The family kept sometimes I can't talk. Keep a meticulous file system of the tournament history of every competitor the child faced. Their lives would be dedicated to chess. So some people think, like if you are just kind of forced by your parents, you kind of hear all these stories, like my parents wanted me to be a doctor. They only said I could be a doctor, an engineer, or whatever, right? And then they end up doing something completely the opposite. So this is really cool because they put it to the test. And what was really interesting is that these kids actually enjoyed this, because it feels like if you're just forced every day to do chess, you're not really going to like it, right? So the childhood of the Polgar sisters was atypical, to say the least. And yet, if you would ask them about it, they claimed their lifestyle was attractive, even enjoyable. So this goes back to the second law of behavior, which is making it attractive. So how did the parents make it attractive? The Polgar sisters grew up in a culture that prioritized chess above all else, praised them for it, rewarded them for it. In other words, an obsession with chess was normal. And as we are about to see, whatever habits are normal in your culture are among the most attractive behaviors you'll find. So now it's going to talk about how your culture influences you, how your parents, who really influences you. And you kind of start seeing this since you were little, like you can grow up with very political viewed, strong, like people who have really strong political views, and then they feed it to their children. And a lot of the times in the future, those kids have the same political beliefs as their parents. Your culture can also tell you like what is acceptable, what isn't acceptable. Like in some cultures, you can't eat certain meat. If your parents are vegetarian and don't eat meats, you're more than likely to be vegetarian as well in the future. So there's different things that you see as a young child that has been fed to you and given to you and around your community of what is normal behavior. And us as humans, naturally, we are always wanted to belong, and we always come into a community, and we're herd animals. So the way it says it here is humans are herd animals. I should let the book explain. It's way better than me. We want to fit in, to bond with others, and to earn the respect and approval of our peers. Such inclinations are essential to our survival. For most of our evolutionary history, our ancestors lived in tribes. The lone wolf dies, but the pack survives. So that's true, and I think that's in it's not that we're like sheep and follow what everyone else does to just be cool or whatever, but we do want to work in like a team environment. Like a whole team can get a lot more done than just one person. So it's giving kind of the example, you know, those humans who wanted to be on their own in the past, when it was hunting and gathering, they wouldn't be able to survive. You need a whole group, a whole tribe in order to survive. It's a lot easier now, but as Charles Darwin noted, in the long history of humankind, those who learn to collaborate and improvise most effectively have prevailed. We don't choose our earliest habits, we imitate them. We follow the scripts handed down by our friends and family, our church, our school, our local community, and society at large. So we kind of gave a little bit of examples, you know, if your family is like vegetarian, you're more likely to be vegetarian. You know, people obviously change, but people don't start questioning these things until they're a little older. When you're a young child, whatever your mom says, you believe. If your mom says the sky is gonna fall tomorrow, you believe it. If the mom says the world's gonna end tomorrow, you'll believe it. You believe everything your parents say because you don't know any better, right? So behaviors are attracted when they help us fit in. So we imitate the habits of 3 groups in particular. So the close, the many, and the powerful. So the close would be your friends and family. The many would be your society, and the powerful. So proximity has a powerful effect on your behavior. We pick up habits from people around us. We copy the way our parents handle arguments, for example, the way our peers flirt with one another. I don't know about that. I find that I often imitate the behavior of those around me without realizing it. So that's what the book was saying. So, you know, we start seeing these things and then we just start doing them without even consciously knowing it. Like if you start hanging out with someone and they're always saying hella, next thing you know, you're going to be saying hella as well. Or like, you're super awesome, or I'm a beast. I always be saying I'm a beast. So my team at times they're like, you know, we're freaking beast. Yes, we are. So you do start noticing things like that. Imitating the many, they did a different study. And on here, you can kind of see like the lines. I don't know if you can see it here. But basically, they were asking to a group of people like which line on the second box is equivalent to the first one. And in the beginning, the group was picking the correct answer. So then, you know, it was easy to pick the right answer. But then they started picking the wrong answer. And a lot of people were picking the wrong answer. And eventually, everyone else in the room decided that the wrong answer was the correct answer. Even though inside of them, they knew it was wrong, they still decided to go along with everyone. I guess they don't want to be the odd ones out. I'm not like this. I'm going to be honest. I'm trying to work on, you know. Okay. Eventually, they delivered the answers they knew in their heart to be incorrect. Oh, poor them. So limitation of powers. Humans everywhere pursue power, prestige, and status. We want to be acknowledged, recognized, and praised. We draw to our behaviors that earn respect, approval, admiration, and status. Once we fit in, we start looking for ways to stand out. I mean, I feel like I stand out. I work at a law firm full of nerds, and I have like demons tattooed all over me. And I basically do what I want, but I do my work. I do my job right. So that's pretty much what it went over. I'll read the little chapter summary here because I think it's pretty cool. Like it gives you little bullet points. I honestly feel like I'm back in school or something. I'm 30 years old. I write little notes and stuff and highlight my book. But it says here, the culture we live in determines which behaviors are attractive to us. We tend to adopt to habits that are praised and approved by our culture because we have a strong desire to fit in and belong to the tribe. We tend to imitate the habits of 3 social groups: the close, family and friends; the many, the tribe or society; and the powerful, those with status and prestige. One of those most effective things you can do to build better habits is to join a culture where your desired behavior is the normal behavior. Oh yes, I forgot to mention. It also talks about another example. So there were these like nerdy people that were overweight and, you know, they wanted to start getting healthy again. So what this place did is they actually created like this gym specifically for like Star Wars fans and like the stuff that they liked. So those people went more to the gym because why? Because they were around like-minded individuals that all had the same goals and they had common interests. So little groups like that can help motivate a lot of behaviors. So like joining a book club, like my YouTube channel, things that you have in common with other people. It definitely helps, and they could have an influence because they can give you insights of different things they've experienced, and hopefully you don't have to do mistakes like me with the stock market. At first I used to talk about the stock market. No one really seemed interested, so I had made a YouTube channel, kind of switched to my books now. But it's great finding a community with like-minded individuals, because then you can share things with each other and hopefully influence each other. So it does really have an impact on you who you are around. If you're around people who are hardworking, motivated, they don't have to be like business people or owners, but just people who have drive and good ethics. Be around that. Be around positive people. It does have an effect on your day. If you walk into a room and the person's pissed off, like, you can feel that. Be around people who are positive, who will motivate you. Friendship is about elevating each other. Any kind of relationship with your family, with your friends in general, I think that's important. Well, can't wait till we read chapter 10. There are 20 chapters in this, so there's still more videos to come. I am reading the 48 Laws of Power, but let me tell you, that book is heavy. It's a little bit hard to digest at times. I'm like, wow. But I just remind myself, it is not telling you how to act in your daily day. It's just telling you how people get to power. So I guess it puts it a little bit more into perspective, but it's pretty interesting because it was banned from jail. So I will be reviewing that book in the future if you're interested. I also like Stoic books, like Stoicism, Seneca, things like that. So I'll be reviewing books like that in the future as well. Well, I hope you enjoyed this and learned something, and I hope you have a great one. Let's see if my little thing works.